How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Forever Arsenal podcast. It's been a little while since we've been back on the Forever Arsenal pod. It's been a little longer since James has been back on the pod. So it's been a little while all round. But guess what? There's no fucking news to talk about. So I don't know why we're here.
Sorry, how's Jordan's internet delayed? Yeah, he still managed to ruin the intro.
Yeah. I mean, we're back. We're well and truly.
We can hear you coughing and all sorts or whatever. As the intro.
I thought I was muted.
But Turkish takes you off mute as we're about to enter the show.
Oh, that's Turkish fault then. That's not my fault.
I think we've got to blame Turkish for that.
That's on Turkish, that one.
I never told James I do that. James just over the years, and it has been years that we've been doing this, he's realized that's what I do.
Yeah. It's quite obvious, but there we go.
Yeah, there we go. Welcome back, James, man. Welcome back.
Well, welcome back to you, man. You've been in South Africa. Look unbelievable.
Yeah.
Jordan's in Kenya right now. Lee's in his shed, as always. It's looking good.
Well and truly back. Well, yeah, I'm back in London now. Obviously, you can see Jordan's out still in Kenya. And the rest of us are home. Hand up from Jordan. Go on.
Sorry. Just before, let's be honest, we haven't got much to talk about, so I'm going to feel a little bit here. But just before we get into the non-Arsenal chat, as I always do, I got to big up my African gooners out here. I was in Ethiopia for a week last week, and across the whole week, this isn't any Arsenal bias. You guys know I'm not a biased fan. You know that about me. I would say, of all the football shirts that I saw in Ethiopia, 80% were Arsenal. I didn't see one Liverpool shirt. I saw two United. I counted two United, no Chelsea, no Liverpool, two Paris Saint-Germain, two Barcelona, and a couple random shirts from European teams. Overwhelming Arsenal fans. Arsenal fans. Here in Kenya, even more. The percentage is probably 90% of football shirts that I'm seeing out here are Arsenal supporters. The love for Arsenal Football Club is insane. I'm not saying it's a continent-wide thing, because I know that in Nigeria, Man United probably lead in Nigeria. I think Ghana has a big Liverpool fan contingent. So I'm not saying it's an African-wide thing. I'm just saying everywhere I go in Ethiopia and here in Kenya, Arsenal by a mile, not even a Real Madrid shirt. And I've been everywhere. Like it's Arsenal. So I want to big up all my Arsenal fans. I want to big up Nigel, the most un-Kenyan name you'll ever see in your life. I want to big up Nigel, who spotted me and is a big fan of the podcast as well. He loves it. All the Arsenal fans across this continent, big you all up. And look, just before I pass over, I'm wearing glasses because I'm trying to be cool, right? You know those people that wear glasses indoors? They're embarrassing. I've always thought they're really embarrassing. Like people that wear glasses indoors, like what are you doing? They're in the same group as people that wear football shirts to Tesco's or to go to work. It's just embarrassing, right? But you know what?
He's wearing a football shirt right now.
Oh dear, well, need I say no more? But I'm trying something. You know what I mean?
Let them know. Let him know, people, in the comments what he's trying is working out for him. But since you've gone through Kenya and Ethiopia, I'll say South Africa is obviously Liverpool, United, but yeah, followed by Arsenal, Chelsea. And it's a clear distinction, but there's still hella Arsenal fans, and it kind of drives home the point that if this club get back to winning ways, and by winning ways I mean the majors again, you know, we'll our starting base in terms of the support we've got and the overall, you know, impact it would have would be immense. But we're 2 weeks into June now, and I know it's a bit of a different window. Lee's got his hand up as well. Go on, Lee. Why not?
I just want to know, Jordan, how the massage business is going over there. Like,
it's funny you mentioned that, Lee. Funny because we need to be quick because I have got an appointment for a private massage and a sauna. No Cecil, but I have got an appointment after this podcast. So if we can hurry this along a little bit, I am looking forward to my massage, Lee. So yeah, glad you mentioned that. Thank you very much.
That's what
I've learned from Cecil is if they ask if they should stretch you out, say no.
Okay, all right. Noted.
They whisper in your ear.
No stretching.
Can I stretch you out? Just say no.
Just say no to the stretch.
Oh, mate. All right, cool. Yeah, like, as I was saying, the window's a bit different this year. Obviously, Club World Cup meant it opened on June the 1st, I believe. It's closed again now. It's going to open again in a few days. We've seen our competitors, Liverpool, Manchester City, both make improvements to their side, either through re-signing big deals or bringing in big names, whilst Arsenal are still deciding. I mean, we could probably go through Sesko or Gyökeres again today. Same thing there. Zubimendi on the horizon, as it's been since January. Is Kepa the new piece to talk about? Is it worth talking about?
Well, I think that's a good move. I do think that's a good move. I think like being criticised a little bit, but I think that's saved us a few million, because we was looking at we've got Garcia for about 24 million. So I think that's a good deal. But I'm sorry, I'm not buying in all this. Like, we're still looking. Well, what was we doing in January? I thought, like, we didn't get nothing done in January because we were sorting it all out in the summer, and we're undecided still. We're so slow on the take and all that. Like, people like Robbie, you know what I mean? Like, I can't say too much, but he's sort of sticking up for him again by saying, "Oh, it's the Club World Cup." And Bosh, before we know it, Liverpool have gone in. This
the Club World Cup got to do with our fucking.
I know. I can't believe it. A window's open. Do you know it's free? What out of the last 4 windows, Arsenal have spent nothing in 3 of them. You know what I mean? Like, I was talking to a fella down the gym today. Like, he said, "Are Arsenal serious about winning the league?"
No,
I don't think we are. I'm now genuinely thinking. I look at it and I think, "Oh, Manchester City serious? Yeah, they had a blip last season." And we talked about this on the group yesterday. Like, over 6 players signed since January. In 6 months, in 6 months of this year, they've signed a player every month. If you look at it from that point of view, we've signed nothing. I'm sorry. Like, Robbie's going, "Oh, what we got better in for?" Like, I mean, I don't know.
Did he say?
You know what I mean? Like, get on in these people in, like, all these top people on the transfers and all that. Like, I'm sorry. Has he done anything? What's he done? He's had an holiday. I'm sorry. Like, when I've seen a lot of stuff. Big up to James and Graham, by the way. I got a text message at 1:15 last night, like, you know what I mean, saying that he's done a show with Sesko and all that, like, to watch it, like, So anyway, he woke me up from my sleep. I was back to sleep within 2 minutes, but that's another story, like, you know what I mean? Like, but
who sent you the message? Graham did.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, I've worked hard. His exact words. I'll see what, like, I'm going to I'll text you, like, what he said. Like, it was sorry, it was at 12:10. It was. I've worked very, very hard on this show, and the research went a long way on this one. So I said, "Well, I'll watch it, Graham." Anyway, I had a little thing. All of this about Sesko, we should know. If we didn't do nothing in January, right, we should know which one we've got. The reason we didn't do anything in January because we was waiting for the summer for the striker, and now we're undecided on 2 or 3, like, And I'll tell you what, lads, I'm saying it now, like, welcome Ollie Watkins. He's going to be the one, like, like Jack Wilshere. I love Jack Wilshere, right? And I see him today. He's at the Soccer Aid interview. It's the number 9 won't be the be end and end all. Like, come on, like, you know what I mean? We know it is. We know it is. You know what I mean? Anybody that's played football or knows anything about football,
I kind of agree with him, though.
So do I, actually.
The 9 is crucial, but it's not everything.
No, I get that, but James, you know what I mean? Don't try and kid us. We need a striker. It does.
Of course, we absolutely need a striker. I agree with that.
You can't go through seasons without. It's a great point to Phil mate. We have been so close for 3 years to win the league, right? But we've not got. Is it Mikel or is it the player that we haven't got? And I think I do think it is that striker. That striker gets you, though, over the line on those few games. And I don't think you can get away from that fact, boys. I don't think you can. That's my opinion.
I do agree. I think Arsenal's problem for me, if we reflect on last season, is a lack of really reliable goal scoring. I think Saka was starting to give us that, but you need more and match winning quality. I also think a lack of tactical ideas from Arteta. I think there's too much of the same stuff. I think you could solve 2 of those 3 problems and still win the title. And what I mean by that is if he added, if he added Rodrigo and Rodrigo got 30 goals, the point is the goal scoring thing's been solved, whether it's come from a striker or from the left wing. The problem is we need goals in that team. We need match winning quality when the game is tight, when teams are in a 4-4-2 low block, they're hard to break down. We need someone to do something out of nothing. But also Arteta needs to come up with something different, because Arne Slot walked into a Liverpool side that finished 3rd, tweaked a few things, got no new signings because I'm not counting Chiesa, and won the title. So there's a lot of ways we can get there. My fear would be as if we do none of them. Now the 9 is important, but the whole window for me is crucial, guys. The whole window is crucial. That there's a lot to do. The Sesko Gyökeres debate we've had many times. We can keep having it, but yeah, I agree it's important. But I sort of understand that there's a lot to do, and it's not just about getting the 9 right. I think Arsenal have a lot of work this summer to get right.
They do, but I think I don't disagree with you. But I think what Lee means is the constant deflection from the main course. Yeah, like
Sure.
why is it always, you know, we need a striker that should, you know, that's well known right now. It's been well known for a long time. Let's be honest here.
Yeah,
and the club should know what they want to do by now. You know, and you're right with a Rodrigo, for example, but we are in a place where we need 2 in the forward 3, and to be honest, I don't even say arguably, and we need 1 in the 10. So we need 3 players across the front 4, and we're looking at players go. Listen, I don't think Wirtz was ever realistic an option for us. Even if it was, I think his heart was set on Liverpool. They got his best friend over there as well. But a Shirky, 25, 30 mil. But what do we say? Oh, it's not Arteta's type of player. But if you look at Pep over the last 3-4 years, it hasn't been his type of player either.
Yeah, agreed.
But you got to reinvent yourselves. You've got to reinvent yourself. And I'm sorry, but to see Arteta started this window by saying we need goals, creativity. And then I'm seeing 2 creative, probably the 2 best available creative midfielders centrally available, go to our rivals. And it just pushes us a bit further away, because
I hear it.
As much as we were behind City last year and behind Liverpool in front of City last year and in front of Liverpool the 2 years before that, these 2 have made improvements in the summer. Pep's a goated manager. You know, Slot's going to have, you know, he's already talking a good game, so I'll give him that. You know, he doesn't shirk away from the responsibility of managing Liverpool. You know, we're going to be stronger next season and so on. I just think we're doing the same old shit. So when that guy asks you, Lee, are Arsenal serious? The answer is no, we are not serious. And it's been evident for a lot longer than just 12 months or 18 months or 3 windows. It's just that we're back to square one to see again this club is not serious. That's it.
I'll try and be brief, guys, because I know my connection isn't great, and it's always embarrassing when you're talking for ages and no one can hear it. First of all, I think the Kepa in isolation is a brilliant bit of business. I think when you get, I'm not a particularly massive fan of Kepa, but he's a Premier League good goalkeeper for 5 mil. And if your main keeper's out for 6 months, Kepa comes in. I'm confident he can keep us in a title race as opposed to other players. No chance, you say?
No, she's not good enough to go and go for 6 months for us. That's for sure.
Okay, well, I guess there's very few goalkeepers as a number 2 can handle a 6-month stint and still keep in the race. So maybe I'm 3 months then, 2-3 months. I think it's good enough to kind of plug that hole.
And crucially, play cup games. Crucially, play cup games to a level where I'm not looking at the team ever and going, oh, we've been knocked out because we had Kepa in goal. I'd be like, that's not a fucking excuse whether he makes an error or not.
Agree. So that in itself is a good bit of business. In regards to what Lee's flagged and the general business, I mean, the whole Sesko Gyökeres debate, I'm so bored of it now. I just don't want to discuss it anymore. I think it's actually quite embarrassing, and it's an indictment on Arsenal Football Club that we're now still debating and not sure which one we're going for, and they've pivoted from Gyökeres, now it's Sesko, and I think it's actually really embarrassing. I think it's really, really embarrassing. Whether you want Sesko or Gyökeres is a personal opinion, but just get the guy you want and bring him in. This kind of going back and forth is really, really embarrassing. I don't want either of them personally, but I did a show with Turkish, Curtis and Laurie a week or so ago, so I gave my thoughts on that. But I don't care who you want, just get the guy you want and bring them in. But I was also, when I mentioned a few weeks ago about Arsenal's process, I was only kind of half joking when I was saying in the time it takes Arsenal to decide the guy they want, other clubs are putting in bids, agreeing terms, and getting the guy in a shirt. In that 10-day window, Man City, Liverpool are wrapping up players, multiple players, in the same time Arsenal are taking to decide who they want. It's really, really bad. It's really, really bad. And I'll say this and I'll defer. I'm getting to the point now, guys, where the title for Arsenal is looking like it's kind of done already. And I know people will say, how can you say that? There's still the window to go. There's still months to go. But I'm thinking, who can Arsenal sign now that puts them on par with what Liverpool and Man City have got? Who can they sign now that would make you think, squad for squad, this team can personnel-wise match Liverpool and City?
The only thing we can do now, yeah, is go take Isak off Newcastle.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the only thing, and we can't.
Agree.
We can do that, but we can't because we know how we are. We probably don't want to ruin the relationship with Newcastle.
And Turkish, I'll go one step further. I'm not sure even that will put us on par, because I think, for what James was saying earlier on about the lack of goals, the first half of last season, guys, what was my main point for a lot of the games? It wasn't scoring goals. It was creativity. We didn't create a lot. Even games we won, I was moaning about the lack of creativity. So even if you bring in Isak, that solves a massive problem. But I still feel there's an issue with creativity and creating chances in games, is my personal view. So even if we signed Isak tomorrow, I would still put Liverpool and Man City squads before ours in terms of, do you know what I mean? Power and personnel. So we're getting to the point very closely, guys, where I'm like, I don't know what we can do to put ourselves in a position whereby come game one, with a straight face, I can say Arsenal can win this league. I don't know what we can do to catch up those two teams already. So it's a bit of a madness for me, and it's disappointing as well. But we are falling so far behind. People will say, we'll bring in players. I've got no doubt, guys, we will bring in players. But I'm looking at who's out there now, and unless you're going to pull a rabbit out of a hat, I just don't know who you sign now to put us in a position whereby Liverpool and Man City think, oh, the way that we're looking at them and thinking, oh.
That's the problem.
Can I come in with a bit more hope?
You can.
Guys, the sun's shining. I said something on Talking Transfers yesterday with Robbie and Laurie. I said, there's 1 month of the year where I don't have to stress much about Arsenal, and it's June. In July, pre-season starts, and I'm stressing all the way through to May. In June, I'm the most relaxed I'll ever be about this football club. So I'm not in panic mode. That's not because I don't agree, by the way, with all the concerns. You're just not going to get that from me, not till July 1st. But I will say this, though. I think this last season was so damaging, and I understand it. It was it's the season's just gone. It's been so damaging for us in terms of the way we view this team. And almost to the point of it's beyond, well, what impact did the injuries have? Well, what were the circumstances for not signing players? Well, whatever it might be. And the reality is, in the season before that, we got to 89 points, pushed Man City all the way. We also did get to the Champions League semi-finals. This is not a bad football team. Far from it. I think we're a very good team. You know, a couple of pieces. Now, you say Liverpool, City are running away, and I hear that because they've been sweeping up the titles for the last 6-7 years, and they've got top players. They're making top signings. I still think we edge them on defence. I think our back four and our options in the back four, I wouldn't take above theirs. I genuinely wouldn't. I think ours are the better ones. The numbers are supporting that too. Our performances, the eye test support that we have that over them. I wouldn't trade Declan Rice for any of them. I wouldn't trade 23-24 Erdegaard, but I appreciate we didn't have that this last year. I wouldn't trade Bukayo Saka. I wouldn't. So there's lots in that team that I still really believe in can go and push and better Liverpool, Man City in some ways. Now, on the window stuff, I think the reporting is Arsenal are still deciding about, are deciding between Gyökeres and Sesko. Guys, they want Sesko. That's what I think. They want Sesko. And I think Berta is using the Gyökeres stuff to try and get what he can out of Leipzig for the Sesko deal. Now, for anyone saying, I know you're shaking your head, Turkish, but there is a lot of work to do in this squad. Now, you could just say, we'll go pay 85 million and get him. But what if you do get him in 2 weeks' time for 65 million? There's 20 million to go on that Rodrigo deal that might come up. As things stand, Rodrigo he's basically making it clear he's quite happy at Real Madrid. But every reporter around the Rodrigo situation, around Real Madrid, is saying he wants to play on the left. He wants to know where he stands with Xabi Alonso and what his role in the team and the system is going to be. So who's to say, like Florian Wirtz supposedly wanting Bayern Munich, like Ozil on deadline day 10 years ago, who's to say Rodrigo's situation doesn't change, because it seems like quite a fluid one? Now, would we not want to be in a position where we're ready to take advantage of that and do that deal? Now, guys, the Arsenal PTSD about transfer windows, I get it. I've been there. But 13th of June, I'm not there yet. 10th of July, maybe. Then I'll start to be like, what the bloody hell are we doing? But I just think I don't mind a little bit of figuring out the situation while Kepa's done, while Zubamendi's done, while Gabriel's signed a new deal, while Saka and Saliba are in talks. I don't think we've been slow. Personally.
I think, James, people would be more like you, James, if there was stuff that was done in January. I think the fact they did nothing in January, I think is making people think, well, some people didn't, but we'll give you a pass for January, but try the last game of the Southampton, last game of the season, the final whistle goes.
We're losing his connection slightly. But he's
I'll tell you what, he's right.
He's making a good point. Yeah,
he's exactly right. That's why I'm a little bit people like January. I can let January go. I'm still annoyed about January. It cost us the title. It cost us the Champions League. I don't care what anybody says. We should have brought in players. But if you didn't bring any players in, fair, okay. So when that transfer, when this little window happened here, Arsenal should have said, right, we didn't get nothing in January. That's why. That is the reason why we didn't get nothing in January. Bosh, bosh, bosh. But they haven't. So why didn't they do anything in January like that? I was led to believe we didn't do nothing in January because it would affect us on our centre forward and whatever, like, you know. Now, as it stands at the moment, it doesn't look like Thomas Partey's going to stay, because he would have signed the contract by now. I don't know. You could say that he still can, he still can't. I don't know. It's more looking like he's not.
Yes, weird how long that's taking, Lee. I agree with that. I mean, that's one. It's like, how have we not got that sorted? But
that should have been done. Like, you know what I mean? Now all of these things are in the place, and that is the thing. And Jordan makes a great point there. Like, because of January, we should have turned around and said, right, the reason we didn't do nothing in January is because we was waiting for this and this. And it hasn't happened. Zubamendi should have been done in this deal. I get it that he can't be done because of Sociedad, whatever, like. But you just say that it's done. You know what I mean? Just go, look, you know, here's the shirt. He ain't going to be signed until. So I don't know, but like, it just seems to me we're fragile. Our Arsenal fans are fragile at the moment, like, you know, because of the season, what it is and what's going on. I do believe, I'm with you, James, that Arsenal are one or two players away from still being the best team in this league. I do think that. I don't think there's too much reason. The reason you can argue that Arsenal are not good enough to win the league in the last couple of years is the manager. I don't ever want that conversation, right? I don't want that conversation going into the new season. It's on the manager now. No, if we've got the players, that should be enough for us to see it through, like, you know. And if it's not, I don't know where I don't know where I'm going to be come September. If they haven't got what I think that they should have got after the January thing, I don't know how I'm going to feel. I feel very, very let down by the club at this moment in time. I do, because of January. I even look back at the semi-final, right? We were talking about this today. What cost us that semi-final against a very, very good PSG team was Thomas Partey getting suspended. And we didn't have anybody in there sufficiently to cover that. Now, at the end of the day, Jorginho was injured as well. So I get that. But we didn't have the necessary tools to get through that semi-final, like, you know. And that ain't on the manager. That is on the board. That is on the board to have made sure that those tools. So this summer now, give the manager the tools. And if you don't, I don't know where we go from here. I really don't.
It's not often I disagree when someone wants to take, attention away and put it on the owners. But Arteta said a lot in the last 12 months. He spoke of goosebumps 3 weeks ago when thinking of next season. But guess what? Liverpool fans got goosebumps because they've got Verts in. Man City fans got goosebumps because, like you said, 6 players have come in, including exciting talent, Reinders and Shirky, both into a midfield. Oh, but what happens to Foden's development is what we would say if we were buying on top of a Ranieri or a Dowman, because we love talking about the teenagers so fucking much, thinking that's going to do. This ain't Mighty Ducks. This is elite fucking football. I'm sorry, Arteta's got a lot of... When we signed Sterling, direct quote, I spoke to him for 10 seconds and I knew he had to come. That wasn't from Edu's mouth or Josh's mouth. That was from his mouth. Goosebumps is from his mouth. For 2 weeks of the January window, he spoke of not needing a striker because we scored the most in 2024. Now I look at the owners, because 5 years into a process, and you look at year 5 summer, last summer. Look at last summer in hindsight now, in totality. What a shit summer in isolation, let alone your 5th, phase 5, year 5 of this process and project we're meant to trust. How can that be your summer? But then forget that, we scratch it off, right? Hope in January, forget that. So you're telling me in our 6th year of this process, we don't know who we want to proactively move. And if we do want a 22-year-old Sesko who scored 13 goals in Bundesliga, tell me would Chelsea have done that, finishing second 3 years in a row? Tell me would Man United have done that, finishing second 3 years in a row? Tell me would Manchester City go for a striker that's got 13 goals in Bundesliga when they finish second 3 years in a row? And the answer is no, no, no. They'd be going for Osimhen, Isak, Gyökeres, the top strikers. But we want to bamboozle ourselves again.
Or if they were going for those.
Oh, shame about the internet.
Hmm.
Do you guys fundamentally not rate Sesko?
I was going to say, sorry, and if they were going for those kind of strikers, oh, sorry, my internet is a mess.
We can hear you.
Okay, sorry, yeah, I'll persevere. I was going to briefly say, even if those clubs would have gone for a Sesko, a second, third tier player, they wouldn't be spending 6 months doing it. How are you letting Sesko, a relatively, undernamed, low profile guy? This isn't like Liverpool have wrapped up a £130 million player in a couple of weeks. We're spending months on a guy that got 13 goals last season. Why are we letting Sesko bad us up like that?
Nobody, I'm not even using that as... Oh, my camera keeps on unplugging as well. I'm not even using that as like a disrespect to him, because it doesn't seem like no one really wants Gyökeres either. But no one's in for them. We're the best club by far in for them. Maybe not the biggest, because Man United are still bigger, regardless of 15th or not. In year 6, this ain't year 2. What phase is slotting? What phase is slotting? 2. What phase is Pep's new era in? 1. And we're looking at their summer saying, oh, they've widened the gap and it's going to be hard to close in on that regardless of what we do this summer. What, in phase 1, phase 2? We're in phase 6. And I'm sorry to keep on using phase, but that's what we were told years ago.
Yeah. Guys, I will match this energy whenever they return for pre-season. If this is exactly where I'll match this energy, I promise you.
Do you remember, James, last year, though? I did basically what you're doing now. Yeah. I said, nah, you know what? We've got here back-to-back title challenges. They did say it's a 5-year project. Cool. Let's do what we need to do this summer. I ain't going to moan. I ain't going to cry. Albeit I did come deadline day when it's Sterling, but by then the realization is there that all of that faith put in them, they screwed it up.
No, Turkish, I know it's clear, right? Last year, I know my position on the window was pretty positive, and your take on it, which was to rate it a 3 out of 10, was spot on and aged brilliantly. So that's why I'm not going to argue with any of you who feel pessimistic about what's going on right now, because history suggests your takes on this will age well and mine won't. I just feel that you say Sesko's low profile. He's not. He's one of the best young strikers.
Well,
in the
sorry,
world.
just to quantify. Sorry, sorry, James, we'll talk you. But I mean, in terms of low profile, I mean, if you were to name the top 15 strikers in Europe in terms of like their proliferacy, their profile, he's not in that. There's 15 more strikers I could name.
He is
that are higher
recognised
profile
as
than
one
him.
of the most exciting strikers, young strikers in Europe, if not the world. Like, there's a lot of hype and excitement around this player.
Is anybody else in for him, James?
Yeah, no.
Sorry,
Well, okay, not like we are, but supposedly United and Liverpool have looked to him too. How strongly, I don't know. Maybe not, but we know that they've got other business to do. Guys, on the Gyökeres Sesko debate, I think there's two ways to look at it. Sesko's the better fit for what Arteta wants today. I don't care about the age; he just is as a profile. Gyökeres is the better goal scorer and probably the better player today. So the argument is maybe Arteta should go get the better goal scorer and adjust tactically for a Gyökeres. Totally hear that. I really do encourage you. I know it put you to sleep, Lee, but I really do encourage you guys to go watch what Graham put together in terms of the breakdown on Sesko, because I know 13 league goals. I hear it. Guys, he's not asked to be a striker. Honestly, that guy is playing everywhere on the pitch but up front. Now, whether that's what you want, all right, that's
But you know what you described? Sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
You lot told me this about Havertz. Not you. Havertz. He plays everywhere but up front. He works hard for the team. Are we, James? Are we getting another one of those then?
Well, I fear we're getting a more. Well, there's two things. I think we're getting someone who's meant to do what Havertz does, but better. I think the point is that when those chances, because I think we can all say Havertz gets chances, right? Like, I think the idea is do everything Havertz does, but bury those moments when they come. He's an incredibly technical footballer. Some of the goals he scored are out of this world already at a young age. So his role won't change, guys. And we can have two separate debates here. Should we be mad at Arteta not having a tactics and a system that plays more to feeding a goal scorer number 9? That's fair. We can have that debate. But Arteta is this is how he does things. This is what he wants his 9 to do. He looked at Aubameyang scoring all those goals and put him out on the left because Lacazette was better at dropping in and holding up the ball. That's what he does with his 9s. Havertz, he praises everything, but like even when he's missing chances, this is what Arteta wants from his 9. Like, I'm not saying that's okay. I'm just saying that's kind of the reality of the situation. And he's looking for the striker that will supplement that more, but hopefully get the goals to go with it. That's why I think they prefer Sesko over Gyökeres, guys. I'm not telling you to be happy about it. I'm just trying to tell you what I think it is. And this whole Arsenal don't know who they want. I'm very, very confident they know who they want. It's Sesko, and they're just playing the market a little bit. And also in terms of the faith stuff, guys, we were just a month ago celebrating Andrea Berta coming in. Like, I'm just going to give it a little bit of time to actually see what he's doing, because I mean, otherwise, like, what's the point even being happy about that arrival? What's that, Jordan?
So I wasn't. I didn't give a view on the Berta appointment.
Okay, fair.
But I take your point. But no, you're right. Most of the fan base were like excited. I didn't have a view on it.
No, I was happy when I saw it.
How many goals you get last year, Berta? How many goals you get? I ain't interested in him. Like, I mean, when 10, 15 years ago, was it all? Everybody was excited about bringing someone in on the board now. The football it's not about that. It's it's about.
It is. All we talk about is David Dean and how he's not appreciated for the work he did with Wenger. Of course, it matters.
Listen,
man.
David Dean did do that, but like that one's going on about like it's a great signing or whatever. David Dean's a great signing. He just went about and done his job.
That's because the internet's evolved. We know more.
I know that, and I know that it's like, you know what I mean, like VAR weren't around and things like that. Like, but at the end of the day, you know, I ain't got a, you know. 3 or 4 of them, you know, have left over the last couple of years in our best sort of season, best time at Arsenal in the last 3 or 4 years. 3 of them or 4 of them have left. You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't care. All I want is when that season starts, I want to believe that we can win the league. Now, I felt over the last couple of years that has been a case that we could. I didn't think it last season. I don't know why. I didn't have the same energy for it. It was just a big disappointment. But like, I'm with you on this, James. Sesko, I think is listen, he's more of a natural strike. Like, how can I say it with Havertz? Havertz is a midfielder been converted. Like, you know, where I think Sesko is a natural striker doing the role that I think Arteta wants. I do. I think that we get more goals out of Sesko than Havertz. Listen, we was one game off winning the league with Havertz, like playing, like, you know, in that role. Imagine if you got someone that was the proper person to do that role. Who knows? So I'm not against Sesko, right? I'm really not against Sesko.
Can I just say, Lee? I mean, look at the names we're talking about here, though. Sesko, Havertz, even Gyökeres. None of these guys, for me, they're all three of them are good players. Even Havertz. Havertz is a good player, but none of these three players, for me, feel like they're going to bridge the gap between us and Liverpool, who've, by the way, gone on another level. Never mind Manchester City as
Liverpool
well.
ain't
All these
got no
guys we're
one
talking
like
about.
that, Jordan. Liverpool haven't
Like
got a
who?
real top 9, have they? They've not got a top
They
9.
don't need one. They got Salah.
Well,
Exactly.
maybe if Sesko comes in, we've got Sesko.
Oh, come Lee. I mean, with all due respect, if we're hoping Sesko does what Salah does, we're really,
I'm
really
not.
clutching.
No, I'm what I'm hoping is that Sesko comes in and that releases Saka a little bit more. At this moment in time, we get the ball to Saka. He has 4 players around him every single time, right? If you've got someone like who's a killer in there, they can't afford to do that. They can't. Oh, hold on a minute. We put 4 over there. Ball quickly into Sesko or whoever it is. Bang, goal. Then all of a sudden they're going to say,
Lee? Before, I don't want to poo-poo the Sesko signing because I don't know a lot about him, and second of all, let the guy play before we criticize and judge him. Right? Let's give the guy a chance. Yeah. But here and now, if you're Virgil van Dijk, if you're Ruben Diaz, if you're Harry Maguire, if you're any defender in the Premier League next season, and you've got Sesko on the right, is that the sort of player that you're thinking, oh, I need to drop off Saka because they've got Sesko over there? Real question. Is that the sort of player that you're thinking, oh?
Well, listen, if you want my honest opinion, when you're spending the money that they have and you didn't sign nothing in January and you're waiting, it bloody damn well better be Arteta. It damn well better. Whoever it is, it's got to be that one. But whoever it is, I don't care if it's Tesco's or Sainsbury's down the road, like, as long as he's the one that does that to release Saka and to release Martinelli and release whoever. And it is all on the manager, this one, because I can't carry on the way we are, boys. I'm simple as that, like, you know what I mean? Like, Saka getting 4 players around him and nothing happening. We've got to get it where Saka has 1 or 2 around him.
You touched on something interesting there, Lee. It's about Saka. You talk about releasing him. I think the left winger does that more than the striker. I think at the moment they're happy to crowd out that pitch because they're not really worried about that side. That's why I'm desperate for Rodrigo. And look, I'll be honest, I think Rodrigo is the best player on the market we can possibly pick up this summer. Do you guys think there's a better one? I don't think there is. I think Rodrigo is the best player we could sign this summer. I'm desperate for him. I would wait. Let me get this straight, right? I'm not saying I'm happy for Arsenal to dither or anything, but if we do all our business and he's the one we do on deadline day, I'll just be happy we got him. I think he's that good. And obviously that means everything else has to be done and you have to get the player. But you need someone who's a genuine threat, someone who's going to kill sides on that left if you want to free up Saka a little bit.
That's my point, James. I think if you get Rodrigo in, and I'm not as all in on Rodrigo as well as everybody else is. I don't watch as much of Real Madrid or him as a lot of other people do. Top player, clearly he's a baller, but I'm not on the whole Rodrigo hype train as everybody else is, just because I don't know much about him. So I'm not there. But he clearly is a guy that if you're Virgil van Dijk, if you're Diaz, if you're Shaw, any defender, he's a guy you've got to, okay, now we can't just triple up on Saka because Sesko, I'm not sure Sesko's that guy. I'm not sure he's the guy that you're thinking, we've got to focus on him because, do you know what I mean? I'm just not sure he's that.
I'm gonna go ultra nerd. You can all turn your cameras off here if you hate this stuff. Fine. Sesko's, fair play to you. I said his name, and that's how far we got. Sesko's 13 goals. I just want to give a bit of context to this. Kai Havertz has 9 goals at an XG of 12. So he scored 3 less goals than the nerds, the stats and whatever suggest he should have, right? Benjamin Sesko's got 13 goals from an XG of just shy of 11, 10.8 or something. The point is, there's also data that Graham went through on every type of chance he gets, whether it's from distance, whether it's from close to goal, whether it's whatever. Here he goes. Lee's on his way. Just had to figure out how to do it. They've gone. He makes more of the chances he gets than Kai Havertz does. So this idea that he's kind of a bad finisher because he only gets 13 goals, I feel like I'm only talking to Turkish now. like he's not a bad finisher, can score great goals. Well, Lee, it will be you, like with Kai Havertz, 1 month into seeing Sesko, that will go, actually, I quite like him. Actually, he's all right. Actually, he's better than I realised.
You've
Oh,
won me with
actually,
the Sesko thing, like, you know what I mean? I'm happy to get Sesko. I really am. I've seen a bit of what you and Graham have said, and I'm on that cat. Won me over.
I'm not saying, by the way, guys, let me make this really clear. I'm not saying in a perfect world every top manager picks Sesko over Gyökeres. I'm not saying Gyökeres' goals are still phenomenal. He's a bit rough around the edges, but he's a brute and he's a bloody good finisher, and his numbers are sensational. Arteta's just not going to do that.
No,
he's not ever going to be what he asks of his striker. It's just not, he had that in a Banyang, and he got rid of him within a year.
I totally agree. He's not his sort of striker. And I'm going to say this now. I think Sesko might get 10, 15 goals next year, but I reckon in 2 or 3 years' time, he'd be banging in a lot more. I think he'd be a really good player. What I've seen of him, he looks really, really good.
It's just time we don't have, Lee, isn't it? It's just we don't have that. That's why, for me, something like Rodrigo is so important. I'd be underwhelmed with even a Nico Williams and a Sesko. I'd go, well, who do I look at there and go, yeah, definitely 100%. I know what I'm getting and I know how that lifts us. Nico Williams is a very good player. But with Rodrigo, I have this feeling of like, yeah, we've added a world-class left winger who's going to terrorize teams. We've added goals from distance. We've added magic quality. We've got someone who can do good on the inside and on the touchline, a little bit of everything. Hell, he can even cover on the right if things get desperate. So that for me, the Rodrigo pursuit. Are there any other left wingers you guys would want outside of Rodrigo?
When in January.
Sorry, who? Oh,
So
yeah.
Eze would be one I'd go for.
He's a good player. I really like Eze, but he just doesn't blow me away. Not like Rodrigo.
I've only seen Rodrigo a few times. He certainly didn't blow me away in the 2 games against us. I know it's only 2 games.
Nor did Vinicius and Mbappe, though.
No, you know what I mean? Like, this is the sort of defences you're going to come up against Liverpool's, and I don't know.
I disagree. I think we're the best in the world on that. I really do. I think Mbappe and Vinicius that night came up against maybe the best defense in the world, bar maybe Atletico. And I think that I get what you're saying. Rodrigo's had huge moments. He's young, Rodrigo. He's had big moments already against Atletico in the Champions League, Man City, Chelsea. I think this is a really, really top young player who's kind of, I think, ready to be platformed and become the big star at a club if it's not a Real Madrid.
Sorry, slight aside. Is anybody else suspicious of the fee that City have paid for Shirky?
No, Leon in financial trouble, I think.
Yeah, contract I don't think had long on it, did it? I might be wrong.
He was available for 25 million euros in January, Jordan, but I don't think it was a big market opportunity for us.
Can I say on that, Turkish, I'm sorry, I'm so with you on the lack of a number 10 and letting these Verts and Shirky things just go by. That's really pissed me off. That's the one thing I have been frustrated with, because I don't think Arsenal will add a 10. I know we've been linked to Morgan Rogers. I like Morgan Rogers, but I'm really, really annoyed we weren't in conversation for these kind of players. Just craftsmen, just players of absolute silk and guile and quality that can play a pass out of nothing, can score a goal out of nothing, can be a heartbeat of a team, can unlock a defence. I'm really annoyed. I don't think that's one Arsenal are going to look at, and that really annoys me. So I'm with you on that.
If we sign Morgan Rogers, I wouldn't be too disappointed about that.
I like him
because I think that's something that we need. We've got Odegaard that can do that sort of stuff, but we need something different.
Bit of power.
Here we do. Bit of power and pace in that midfield. I wouldn't be disappointed, guys, if we decided to let Thomas Partey go and bring in him.
I would.
I know he's a different player, but Zubimendi and Rice then could play the 6 and he could do the role from deep. I think that would be a good sign, a really good sign for us. Someone of that ilk, something different.
Sorry.
Go on.
But again, look at the names we're talking about. These are not guys that are going to get us a Premier League title. I'm sorry. Morgan Gibbs, what's his name? Morgan Gibbs, right. It's like, come on, good play, decent player, but he's had a very good year at Forest. He's not the guy. He's not the guy. These aren't the guys that are gonna move the needle. These are guys that put you in a title challenge, maybe. These aren't guys that win you and get you over the line. In my opinion, they're just not. They're just not. Sorry, James, I wasn't being rude when I left earlier. I was relieving myself. That's why my camera was off. I wasn't getting bored.
I think Morgan Rogers would.
Thank you. Thanks for clarifying.
I think Morgan Rogers would. I think Morgan Rogers would give us some. What he would do for us is beat low block teams against us in those home games. I think we would break down teams because he would take a ball carrying midfield player that would. I think we haven't got. I think that Declan is a box to box. I'm talking about someone that just beats if we could get someone beating the lines by taking out one or two players, that gives Odegaard a little bit more. It would help us. I do believe that. I do think that we need that different midfield player in there that's going to create.
At his best, I don't think he's better than Odegaard at his best.
Who's that?
Rogers.
Yeah, but he's not.
I agree with that. I agree. Both at their absolute best. I think Odegaard's a better player.
Yeah, but you're not looking to replace. You're looking to have him in the same team. It's a different. You're looking for a different.
Yeah,
okay, sorry.
It's like a different mix.
Sorry, Gibbs White still. Sorry, I didn't. You moved Rogers.
No.
Sorry, Lee.
Listen, we need someone that. If Odegaard's not playing well,
I'll take Rogers for sure.
Yeah, I'm in all on someone like that. Someone that's gonna.
Yeah, but my problem with.
Go on.
Do you know the ideal player? The ideal player, right? Is someone, a prime Aaron Ramsey. That's the sort of player we need. That's going to nick 10, 15 goals from midfield.
I prefer Cazorla.
Or someone like that, yeah.
Can I just clarify, guys? Was Morgan Gibbs White ever brought up? Did I hear things? Was Morgan
No, you just went with it. We said Morgan Rogers, and you just ran away with it.
Yeah.
Talking about all along. Did I just make up? Did I just insert Gibbs White into the discussion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a delayed as well.
Okay, sorry. I thought somebody said Gibbs White earlier on. Sorry. I take
my problem again.
Well, we said that last week. You only just caught up.
My problem again, and call me a broken record, but come on, man. Year 6, Morgan Rogers, and fucking come on, man. Like, this club's not serious. This club is not serious. It's not serious.
Morgan Rogers is a good player.
He's a good player, Lee, but why didn't Arteta get him from Man City since he was there all those years? Palmer, Rogers. We don't even look back at that. We got Zinchenko and Jesus. What about Palmer and Rogers come on, man. Arteta's 5 years are looking funny in the light as well. Yes, he's improved us. Yes, we're challenging for titles, but he doesn't have the capacity to bring in players that might challenge him. That's what it comes down to again this summer. It's the right character, not the best player in that position. It's the right character. And then we've got fucking hundreds of thousands of fans doubling down on the nonsense. I've never heard so many fans be tactical geniuses before. Do you know how many times I hear Sesko's the better fit for us, though? Go fuck yourself, man. How many of you out there watched Sesko for 30 games last year to tell me Sesko's the better fit? It's the club doing what the club's done historically. Historically, we don't go for the best. But this time, we've got Arteta saying best players at the start of the window. Goosebumps. Does Rogers fill you with goosebumps? He does.
Yes, he would, mate.
There's the fucking outro. I should just end the show right now.
No, he would, mate, because I think
I'm making a tea. Rogers would give you goosebumps.
Yeah, because I think it's a player that we know. Sometimes, Turkish, I'll be honest with you, the best players and the most exciting ones ain't the ones you need. It's the ones that are going to.
How about we try and get the best and most exciting ones?
Well, we've got the best in certain areas, but I think that sometimes you need to have the right mix in midfield. I don't think we've got the right mix in midfield. That's my opinion. And I think that's got to be looked at.
But Turkish, have you watched 30 games of Gyökeres to know he's the better player?
No, I don't claim it.
You do a little bit. You do a little bit because you're so because flag in the ground about Gyökeres.
Because historically in football, the strikers that bang goals are the strikers you go for, right? All of a sudden, football's changed to fits. We need goals. So look at who scores the most goals and who's available across the world. Don't tell me a 13-goal striker is a better fit. Fit. Now, what does that mean? Because he floats out of the box and connects play and invades space again. We've had that, James. What we haven't had is a bagsman. Whether he plays 30 games or rotates with the space invader, I couldn't care less. But we don't have that. Forget me. Thierry Henry said we need a striker. Like, come on, like there's a 30-goal striker there. There's Osimhen who scored 20 in multiple leagues now, won titles in multiple leagues now. That's the two strikers you got to be going for. I don't claim to be a genius about Gyökeres, but I've seen his goal scoring ratio. And then people will say, how many are penalties? Guess what? We need a penalty taker, people. So I'm glad that he bags his penalties. I'm glad. But you take away his penalties, he's still got triple the numbers of any attacker we have, bar Saka. So why do we jump through hoops to perfect fit everything?
No, I agree, but that's a fundamental flaw with Arteta.
Yeah,
he saw Zinchenko get injured in 22-23, and instead of dropping Xhaka a bit deeper, getting Martinelli on the inside, bringing Tierney, and he asked Tierney to invert. It's a massive problem with Arteta. It's you got to fit what he wants to do. Fundamentally, I use the Aubameyang example, and he does that with all his players. He asks players. He asked Fabio Vieira to play in the left 8 when he wanted to rest Xhaka, and that's just not what he does. But he made him do it, even though it's not his forte. Arteta has always been, you guys got to do it my way. I'm not saying that's good enough. That just is how he does things. But where I'm not completely open to the whole system over players things at times is because I appreciate PSG have the quality of player too. PSG did it without an out-and-out 9. What they had was immense quality and class across the front 3 and more fluid football. So if Arteta were to take the handbrake off, allow the players to be a bit more expressive, add a Rodrigo, I think already we had 20 goals on last season. Like, I think already that takes us a long way. Like, there's a lot he can do as a manager as well. It's not just sign Gyökeres and everything suddenly fits, because I'm not even sure the way we play right now, we'd even get the best out of Gyökeres. How often do we release a striker in behind? How often do we roll the ball so they're through on goal? How often do we channel our football to them? We channel our football out wide. So there's a lot of things. For me, it's not just Gyökeres or Sesko and boom, that's going to solve it if you pick the right one. There's a lot of stuff Arteta needs to look at himself, and there's a lot of other work in the window. That's just where I am on it personally.
I agree.
My masseuse is here.
Your masseuse is here.
My masseuse, just
At least someone's going to relax.
My masseuse, no Cecil. # no Cecil.
Yeah.
What a way to end the pod.
Well, it's a great way to end the pod right now.
I've got a massage now. I have to leave. Guys, it's a good. Can I say it's a good debate? Like
it's a fantastic debate.
If Isak were available, we'd all just hands down say, "Yeah, do it for 150. Do it." Probably even more. Maybe Arsenal should be rolling that dice. Maybe they have. I don't know. Maybe they should be testing the waters. But I maintain Arsenal have so much work to do this window. I still think. Do you know one thing that pissed me off? I was annoyed we didn't get Nipan from Rosenborg.
Oh.
I know a lot of people are like, who cares? I'm annoyed about it. We need that kind of player. I know he's 18, 19, but we need another silky, creative type who can play from deep, who's meant to be this young, upcoming, like midfield, lots of potential. Just because I want the win now signings doesn't mean I don't want those signings. We wanted him in January. How did we throw that one away? Like, for me, it's all these areas of the side that need addressing.
Where's he gone? Where did he go in the
end? Sorry?
Where did he go in the end, James?
He's going to City for 12 million. So again, he's good enough for City, right? They might loan him out a year, but I mean, like, why are we doing that kind of business? So, guys, I'm not saying I'm happy. There's a lot that Arsenal need to do. The strike thing is just one part.
We was willing for him, weren't we? Again, another one in January was willing.
We thought we were getting him. We thought it was done. Like, we thought he was like in London, like he was going to sign, and we were going to have him for the second half of the season, at least as a squad player. But
are we all in agreement? If we don't win the Premier League this season, it's time for change.
I've thought about this a lot, Turkish. I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. And of course, there's context. If you get to a Champions League final and you finish 1 point off City, then the question will always remain, really? But really, you're gonna but at some point you've got to roll the dice. This group's too good for me. The group's too good. And I think next year there will be an Enrique on the market. There will be a I don't know, a Nagelsmann or a Hansi Flick or someone like that you could maybe just go, yeah, why not? So unfortunately, I'm feeling that way. Yeah. If you finish second and you win an FA Cup and you've genuinely challenged for the title, then probably not. But
Got to win something for me.
yeah, it's about trophies for me next season.
Now.
Failed to deliver on that.
It seems too good not to be winning trophies.
This group, this group's too good to. What did I say about 2 months ago? I said this team has been at title challenging level for 3 seasons. That's 12 competitions, 3 FA Cups, 3 Premier League, 3 Carabaos, 2 Champions League, and a Europa, and they haven't picked up any of those 12. That's not good enough for a team that has been challenging City for 2 years and then finishing second, even in a bad year. So, yeah, absolutely. That's got to be the pressure. At some point, not delivering on trophies has to be something that's reflected on the manager. So, yeah, I think I probably am there.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
And Jordan's there. I see the masseuse in the background. So let's wrap it up.
Right, wrap it up. Wrap it up. He's got to turn his camera off now.
He's blowing me up.
You did it yourself, bro. They're watching it as well. The comments are already commenting before I hotted it up.
Enjoy your stretch. Well, yeah, enjoy your stretch.
Look at him. Look, he's definitely going to enjoy. Sesko, come out, man. It's all right. We know you're there. People. We're coming up to an hour. We're going to wrap it up. One of us, Jordan, getting a massage out in Kenya, and the 3 of us here gonna argue in our WhatsApp groups over Sesko and Gyökeres for the next few days until the next pod.
Enjoy.
Fixtures out next week, though, boys. Something different to talk about.
Yay!
Yeah, we're live next Wednesday. Actually, next Wednesday morning. Oh, my camera's gone again. What a pod! Great to be back.
What a pod!
Love for the love. Big up James, Lee, Jordan. You know what the channels are. We'll be back when we're back. Wednesday live, 8:30 in the morning, running into the fixture announcement. So make sure you're there, people. And we'll see you when we see you.